Hello, noble ones, and welcome to Metatron's Academy. So, while I was just browsing into the wild that the YouTube homepage and algorithm is, I found this video from Steve Kaufmann, and it's titled Why Learning Languages in 2024 is Just Not Worth It. Now, clearly, it's a video from 1 year ago. I remember seeing it, but I never clicked it. Now, given he says stop wasting your time, that's probably more in line with what his message I imagine is going to be. I haven't watched it. In fact, I wanted to kind of provide a live reaction with you to see what I think about this video. Now, clearly the title is extremely clickbaity, but I'm not going to condemn a player. You know, a man's got to do what a man's got to do, today's algorithm and whatnot, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But of course, he can't actually mean it. What is he going to say? I'm kind of curious, so let's go.
No, it isn't worth it. No, it isn't worth it. You're probably not going to succeed, so don't even bother trying. So I'm this guy who has over 1 million followers here at YouTube, and I talk about the joys of language learning and how we can
GG, man. So, okay, now I see what it is. It's what other people say, but now it's going to say, well played, man.
all learn and all this stuff. But I have to confess that there are moments when I have my doubts. Is it really worthwhile learning languages? Can it be fun? And I'm reminded of a story told to me by a friend of mine who was traveling. He was in I can't remember whether it was Paris or Tokyo or Istanbul or Buenos Aires, but some city where they
Somewhere on green planet Earth.
spoke a language other than English. And so he was at this cafe. He had his, he's going to review his social media or whatever. And he sits beside this attractive, girl, and he starts staring at her. And then he kind of says to her in English, he says, "You have a lovely smile," which he thought was a really good sort of pickup line, And she looks at him in a very unfriendly way and mutters something in the local language. So undeterred, he sort of whips out his iPhone and he speaks into his iPhone in English, and the iPhone then speaks in the local language, also saying, "You have a lovely smile." At that point, the girl calls the waiter over, and
I was going to say, go call the police.
he's pointing at him, and obviously very unhappy. And she is moved to another part of the cafe. So the moral of the story is, to me, like, why bother? Why bother learning a language? He went to the trouble
Yeah, why bother learning a language you can't even pick up a woman?
of using his iPhone to generate his pickup line there in the local language, and he was still rejected. So yeah, I question therefore, why bother? Because learning a language, has to be hard work. There's an expression, no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
And that's certainly true in language
Let's
learning.
go.
If you don't subject yourself to drills, to quizzes on things that you have hardly had a chance to get used to in the language, like the subjunctive in French or something. If you don't go to a class and sit there and maybe you have to read in front of other people, and if you read well, then people are jealous and don't like you. And if you read badly, they laugh at you, or it's annoying to have to listen to you. So it's just
I mean, sure, that does happen. Luckily, that's not only the case. Yeah, lose-lose, right?
It's not a good situation, but you have to do that. You got to review, stacks and stacks of flashcards. And of course, you keep forgetting them, and it's just a lot of pain. The whole process is quite painful. And at the end of all this effort, are we going to just be rejected the way my friend was rejected? I even hear of people who learn a language and go to the country where the language is spoken, and they trot out whatever they're able to do in the language, and the people reply in English after all that effort to learn the language. Like, why should I even bother? If you're
Yes, that only happens when you're very much of a beginner. If you're fluent, it won't happen. You just want to put it out there.
not going to humor me when I try to use the language that I'm learning. Now, there are people who say the opposite. There are people who say that, in fact, learning can be fun, that the brain will get used to the language. The brain is designed to do that. Eventually, with enough exposure, we're going to be able to start using, even with some difficulty, as long as we are not afraid that gradually we will improve. I often mention the fact that never has there been so much interesting content available to us in just about any language.
True.
And never have there been so many people online helping us in the early stages.
That's true, actually. I agree with him. Now is the time to pick up languages, multiple languages, in fact, if that's what you're into, or reach extremely high level in a single foreign language, if that's what you prefer. You want to be a specialist, you want to be multilingual. Kind of depends. But now is the time. The amount of resources that are available, even if you don't have money. I should make a video like that. How to learn a language with zero budget. You know what? It's going to be a video soon. I'm going to add it to my list.
Of our learning of any given language. So the conditions have never been better. I hear this message, and I personally have delivered this message here to encourage people. But is that realistic? So today I'm having one of my darker moments, and I'm saying, no, it isn't worth it. You're probably not going to succeed, so don't even bother trying. A lot of people pay lip service to the idea that they want to learn another language. My advice is don't bother. In the book that I wrote in 2003 about language learning,
I'm still waiting. I mean, it's 50 minutes to the end. When is he going to say, I'm joking? Do bother. Do learn it. It is worth it. We can reach incredible levels and have a fantastic time when interacting with natives and going to the... When is he going to say that? Because he only got 50 seconds left, man.
I mentioned the parable of the butterfly by Zhuangzi, Chinese Taoist philosopher of 2,500 years ago, where he imagined himself a butterfly, and then when he awoke and he realized that he wasn't a butterfly, he was Zhuangzi. Then he says, I don't know now whether, in fact, I'm a butterfly that now thinks he's Zhuangzi, or was I a Zhuangzi who imagined himself a butterfly? So, using the parable of Zhuangzi and having exposed to you some of my dark thoughts about language learning, I'm not sure now whether the Steve that questions the usefulness of language learning is the real Steve, or whether I was just pretending to be that, and in fact, the Steve, the enthusiastic Steve, is the real Steve. I leave it up to you to figure that out, but do try to bear in mind the fact that it is the 1st of April. No, it isn't worth it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so well played. I gotta hear that again.
I leave it up to you to figure that out, but do try to bear in mind the fact that it is the 1st of April.
GG, man. GG. That was so well played. I honestly believe, you know what I was about to say? Oh, this was good. Nah, man, that provided me quality entertainment. You know what I was about to say? I was about to say, I don't know, guys, maybe he was depressed that day, but guys, don't let this put you down, because, I mean, just because he thinks that, I mean, he did pick up a few languages, right? And I'm sure that maybe we'll have a good day the day after. I actually believed it at the end. Oh, that was genius. I loved it. That was fantastic. Thank you, Steve, for a good laugh. And thank you for joining Metatron's Academy. I'll see you 1st of April. He just got me. Oh, Mike, did he get you as well? Yeah. He doesn't talk much.